My name's Derek Schlee. I work with LimnoTech. Today we're at the Wetland in Defiance, Ohio, that was built about a year ago, and it's here to remove phosphorus from the creek coming into it and help algal blooms in Lake Erie.
One of the biggest challenges of removing phosphorus from the western Lake Erie Basin and much of the Great Lakes is that over decadal timescales we've put a lot of fertilizer out into the system. And so in some cases we have an effect known as legacy phosphorus, where essentially the soils become supercharged with phosphorus and can actually become a source of phosphorus to the system.
So Defiance, Ohio is really centered at the confluence of three rivers, the Upper Maumee, the Tiffin River, and the Auglaize River.
A significant amount of the nutrient loading that's currently flowing into Lake Erie, as much as 85%, passes right through Defiance, Ohio. This Maumee River watershed that we live in and work in and play in is the largest watershed flowing into any of the Great Lakes, any of them.
The reason we're here at this site is because it was selected from about 500 potential candidate sites for this exact purpose. This is one potential initiative, one potential option to help reduce harmful algal blooms in Lake Erie. It's a huge problem, something that is going to take many years and many different agencies and many different techniques.
If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and if we're going to do it and we see we're having an impact, then we're going to do it on a larger scale, because we do want to improve the water quality.
So this particular site, there's a creek coming into it called Colwell Creek. It's a primarily agricultural area. Colwell Creek discharges into the Auglaize River just before the Auglaize discharges into the Maumee River. The way this system works is when the creek is flowing after major rain events or runoff events, then a portion of that water is directed into the wetland via some diversion structures and pipes that were constructed to bring it out of the creek and into its floodplain area, where we constructed this pond that serves as the first portion of this overall treatment system. And then from there, water is pumped into our wetland system, where it meanders through 4 wetland cells and nutrients are removed before it's discharged and eventually makes its way back into the creek a little bit downstream.
We anticipate that the soil will increase in phosphorus concentration as we operate the system. And then on the back end, we really want to understand how can we use amendments or soil management techniques to really recharge the battery of the wetland to ensure that we're getting sustained removal of nutrients at decadal timescales.
Part of the research that LimnoTech is doing over the next 5 years is to improve on the existing guidance so that wetlands like this, as they continue to be constructed in the Maumee River watershed, can really be optimized for removing phosphorus, not only in their design and construction, but also in the long-term operation and maintenance of those wetlands.
What's been done here is a model. We've developed a model, and the water's going to come in, and when it goes out, we expect it to be much lower in phosphorus. And if this model works here, then we can take this same model and expand it on a much grander scale and really have a significant impact on the phosphorus levels in our watershed.
And at some point we really need to reach out to the landowners and the producers to get the acreages that we're going to need to address the problem.
I actually studied green infrastructure or stormwater management practices while I was in college at Ohio State University. I come from a farming family and agricultural background.
Our relationship with the agricultural community has been very, very good. We recognize, in spite of all the industry around Defiance, agriculture is still one of the top industries that we have here.
As one producer adopts a technology, their neighbor is much more likely to adopt that technology. And so if we can identify the right producers to kind of lead the way on this, then I think we can have a snowball effect and really see this grow and expand. The system is going to become warmer and wetter under future climates, more frequent and intense storms in a longer growing season. By understanding how we can use wetlands as in part of the larger nutrient reduction context is going to allow us to prepare for those different climate change scenarios.
I think people are realizing the national significance of the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes aren't just a regional asset, they're a national asset.
But my hope is 25 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, there's things written about what we did here in Defiance and how it led the way in the old Great Lakes region and really across the country and across the world.